Good morning, everyone. I'm Ziwa. I'm the project manager. Today, I'm going to show you how to use our system from the end user perspective and also how you can benefit from using our system. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the system through an example of issue management system. So what is issue management system? Some people might call it a ticketing system. It is a system for you to monitor the reported issues so that the user know the progress of each issue, whether it has been resolved or if anyone is attending to the issue. Okay, so when the customer service receive complaint from the customer, he can actually file an issue by clicking the issue here. Then he can simply choose any list and click new. So when you click new, you will see a form, which is like your Google form or your paper form that you are having. Okay, except that this is digital. You can fill in the informations as needed. Okay, so you may have noticed that there are some columns which are highlighted in red and the others are in gray color. So those highlighted in red means they are the mandatory field. Mandatory field means you have to fill in because without filling in this information, you cannot submit the form. That is, the system will prompt an error for you to fill in the form. So this is one good thing about using a system, that the user will never have the scenario that, oh, I forgot to provide this information. Because if the user forget to provide certain information, when it flow to the engineer needs to come back to the user again to ask for more details. Okay, so this by using system, we can avoid those unnecessary communication. In other words, we can increase the efficiency to shorten the time. Okay, so let me fill in this form. Okay, then I try to submit now, but you can see the error message highlighted in red that all values have to be filled in. So meaning that I miss out some of the point. Okay, so my expectation is pass. Okay, if you think it's good, you can actually submit the form. But this form is fixed, correct? For the end user, they'll not be able to add more fields in unless you are the workspace admin. But if you find that actually there are some other informations I would like to provide to my engineer for them to identify the issue more quickly, but there's no space for me to fill in here, you can actually write in a comment to provide all information. In the comment, you can add in your attachment, or you can write any description, or this is a repeated case from last month, something like this. And you can submit this form together. Okay, so after you submit the form, you'll be able to find the form here. And if you notice, I just received a notification on my left. Okay, so the notification is another good thing about using a system, that it tells you, it notify you like what is happening. Of course, we send only the notifications to related party. For example, this one, it tells you that, oh, a new issue has been reported. So if you click on this notification, it brings you directly to that particular issue that you can quickly run through the form and take the next action. Okay, so you can see that below there are a lot of choices for you. So the user can actually try to do something. Maybe he wants to assign to someone. So let me assign this to myself. Okay, then I just click OK. You may have noticed that when I click assign, I need to fill in another form. Okay, so if you click OK, the status change. Just now it was open, and now it is assigned. You can view this from the history. So on which date, created by who. Then if you mouse over the changes, you can see what was filled in at that time. Okay, so this is quite important. What we call this is the audit trail, which is important for accountability and also for you to trace what is actually happening to this issue, what are the process, who are the person involved, and what they have done. Okay, you can mouse over and see that, when assigned, the person in charge is Ziwa. Okay, so same thing, the assignee will receive notification. Okay, when you click, you can see that this issue has been assigned to someone. You can click this, and again, the system brings you directly to that particular issues that you can actually uh, update the status. You can click in progress so that everybody knows that the issue, you are attending the issue and it is in progress. Okay? Then the status will change accordingly. So how it changed is actually according to the workflow you set up here. So you can have a lot of combination, a lot of variation in terms of workflow. Of course, you can make a simpler one or you can make a more complicated one. Okay? And you can set certain conditions that if the option selected by user is this, you want the status to change to which one. Okay? So another good thing about using the system is you can do filter. This is similar to your Excel that you can filter. And the above portion here, the filter, is you can set up the default filter. Let's say, for example, the problem. Okay, so you can find that, I want to know every problem about test. And you can further filter this. Those closed one you do not want to see, so you say, I don't want to see the closed case. I only want to see those in progress. Okay, then we can further filter to 3 issues. Okay, so if this list is important for you, maybe you want to do okay, maybe if you want to do some reporting or you want to make some PowerPoint for your boss to see, you can actually download this in Excel. Okay, then you get the data in Excel form. Open my Excel. Okay. So these are the data exported from our system. Of course, with the data, you can play around with your graph, or if the graph you want to provide is different on a monthly basis lah. But if it's the same, you can actually make use of our dashboard here. Okay, so through the dashboard, it gives you an overview of what is happening. Let's say, for example, there are actually 32 critical issues here. And out of the 32, one of them is from the apps, one of them is from the web, and the rest is from the system. And these are what is it related to? Like the yellow color is related to system, or is related to the integration. So you can have a simple graph like this. Okay. So just now I talk about filter here. So actually you can change the filter. If you do not know the problem, you can actually search for our server. I only want to know the server on F01. Like any server you want to choose lah. Or you can change the filter to category. I only know all the issue. I do not want to know the defect. Okay? So if there are certain filter that you use very often, you can actually make it in a shortcut, like all these lists here. So this one you don't have to further filter. My list means everything created by me. So I'll be able to see, these are all the issues that I've been filing so far. Then my task means this issue has been assigned to me. So these are all the shortcut without further filter. But of course, if you want to filter from the all list, you can do that. Okay, I can see that, I want to know all the issue created by me. So it's the same list as my list. So this is the shortcut that you can create. So when you create this, it always stay there. Okay. Okay. Then another thing is you can actually assign uh assign the job to the user and set a due date for them. Let's say, for example, I set it to be on. You have to complete this before 30th October. Okay. Then you click OK. Then on the calendar of that user being assigned, he'll be able to see this on his calendar, so that these are all the due date that he needs to complete. Okay, clear? So if he click on the calendar, same thing happens as you click the notification. It brings you directly to that particular issue that you can continue for the rest of the action. Maybe you can label it as done, then no need deployment, so that the the issue will be closed. Okay, it will be pending verification, so that we send a notifications to the requester, like someone who create this issue, for him to verify again before we close the issue. Okay, so he will receive notification uh, asking him to verify the issue. Okay, so he can actually verify it. If he finds that, oh no, the problem persists, he can choose this one. Or not, he can click OK to close the issue. Okay, so if you have question, you can actually post it in the comment. If not, I will show you how it looks like on the mobile apps. Because nowadays people travel around, and it's important to have a mobile apps that you can know the situations of your company anytime, anywhere. Okay, so on the mobile apps, the just that the layout is different. The menu, the data is all the same. So all the data is on cloud. You're sharing the data, like it's real time. It's not that I need to wait another 10 minutes for it to update. Not the case. Okay. So in the mobile apps, we have the same menu as here. What we have here: feature, release, employee, issue. So on your mobile, you also see these three buttons here. Is your menu. So to file an issue, I click issue. Then there is a plus button at the bottom, is for you to create the issue. So you may have noticed that the form looks exactly the same. The information needed are the same. It's just that the layout is different. So you can fill in as what we did just now. Okay, you write down the version, the workspace. This is to provide information for your engineer to quickly identify the issue. Okay, you can see that actually a lot of informations are needed. So if you haven't been using system, it's best to create a simpler form so that you don't scare the user off. Okay, then you can attach your file or take photo. Then you can click OK. So if I view my list, I'll be able to see the issue which I created just now. Okay, so the next person in charge will have to click on the issue and select the action he's going to do. What we do now, just now, was to assign somebody, right? So I can continue to do that and click OK. Okay, so the status change as what following what we design. Okay, so any questions about the mobile apps and also the web-based? This is web-based and this is mobile apps. No, right? Okay, so I believe that there are certain situations when you want to change the informations, like a few information, not one by one. Let's say, for example, you want to assign all these open issue, you can actually click open. Then you can select, maybe the person in charge is not here today, but all these issues are critical. You want to quickly assign to the next person. You can actually select all and then choose the next person to assign this issue to. Okay, so if you are using Excel, right, you have to change line by line. Maybe you copy and paste lah. Okay, so this is a faster way, but it depends on how your workflow is like. Do you allow the user to select more than one issues to update? Because maybe all issues are different, but for the assign, no problem that you can assign to same person. Okay. Okay. So next, I would like to introduce our dashboard, which I show you briefly just now. So in the web base, the dashboard looks like this. You have graph. Okay. So if you want to do other analysis, you can actually click the add button at the top right button, top right corner, sorry. Then you can simply choose the chart. Maybe this time I want to see the issue, the number of issues in my list. I want to know how many critical issue has been created every day. Maybe not a bar chart, is a line chart. Okay, by month. And you can see that uh, uh, in March there's one issue. Then you can see that maybe certain new features was introduced during that month, so you have more issues reported from the testing. Okay, so you can create a chart here. So same thing happened to your mobile apps. We also have the dashboard here at the bottom. When you click here, you can also see the charts. Again, the layout is a bit different. Then you can also view the calendar. Okay, then when you point to a particular day, you can see that this issue has been is due on 27. This one is due on 27 as well. Okay. I will talk about how to configure a more complicated system that is making use of most of our feature offered through Studio. Okay, just now T has shown you how to configure the system in a simpler way. But to enjoy more benefits from system, you can actually go to Studio if you're already familiar with the simpler one. Okay, so this is the system, how it looks like to the end user. So at the bottom left of the corner, you can actually see a design button, which will brings you to the studio. You can open this in a new tab so that you can see side by side. Okay. So this is the studio interface. You can see that the menu looks exactly the same as the client, the end user interface. Okay. The two looks very similar. Okay. So now going to show you with an example of the issue management system which I introduced, but with a simpler workflow. So this will be the flow that we will be creating lah. So first, when the user create an issue, I want the status to be unassigned so that the next person know that his job is to assign to another person. So after assign, we need the assignee to acknowledge that he already knows that he has been assigned to this issue. After that, he can update the issue status. If he resolves the issue, then the requester will have to verify the issue. During verification, the requester have the options whether this issue has been verified, no problem, or the problem still persists, and maybe he needs to tell the assignee what is the problem to further elaborate so that it's a loop. You can see that it's a loop here that the assignee have to acknowledge again, saying that, okay, he already got the information and he'll be working on it. So in general, but of course, every user have their own preference of the sequence. So my preference will be, I will first design this flow. Then I will design the form in each step. Then I'll set up the notification and the list, the shortcut list I mentioned just now. Then I will do the document if needed and set the user right. Okay, so first we need to create a flow. If I'm going too fast, please let me know. Okay, so first, when we want to create a new, I'll call it ticketing system this time, so that it looks different here. So when you want to create a new module, you click new module in the studio, not the client, the studio. Then you can build from scratch and give the system a name, ticketing. Okay. After that, you create the module. Okay, you'll be able to see that the module is created but the form is empty. So we first started off with the flow. If you need a flow, you must have the status lah. So the status will be unassigned, as I just mentioned. According to this one, you can see that I need unassigned, pending acknowledgement, acknowledge, pending verification, verify, and reopen. Okay, so I create all these at once. Okay, you can check against the list lah, whether we have everything in place. So there are 6 status here. I also created 6. So to have a flow, you need the button so that you know from which how the status change from one to another. Correct? That is the button you need to add. So first, I need to assign to engineer. Okay. We don't have to care about the form now. Later we will go to each form to enter the informations needed. Okay. So after you assign an engineer, he need to acknowledge. Okay. After acknowledge, you need somebody to verify the issue. Okay. Oh, then you also need to the engineer also need to tell the user that, oh, this issue has been resolved lah. So maybe you can click done. Okay, you can move it here. Okay, save. Okay, so when it comes to form, meaning that in each step, what are the information you want the user to input? For example, this one, we can start from here, the form. When you open the issue, you want to know the date. What is the report date? Okay. Then with our AI, we know that this is the date. So we already select the information type for you. Okay. So what other informations are needed? You may want to know what problem the user is having. So you you type problem, then you select is a description. So you may need to have more space for this. I'll select a multi-line. Then maybe there are category or device. So because device, if you can make it an option, it's easier for the user to fill in that they don't have to type every time. And every time they type, the spelling is different, the space is different, the capital is different. So to make it more organized, you can actually make it an option list lah. We call it select here. Then you can say, oh, it's my uh, web browser. Okay, or this issue comes from mobile apps, something like this. Okay, okay. So this is a simple form, and you can also add in other informations as needed. It depends on this ticketing system is for what purpose. Okay, so for us, we need to know the workspace name so that we know which system we should be looking at lah. Okay, so after doing this, you can click OK. Okay, then a form is created. This is the default form. When user click new, they'll be able to see this form and fill in this form. Okay, so come back to our workflow just now. So first, it will be unassigned. After you assign it, it will be pending the acknowledgement of the assignee. After the assignee acknowledge, then the status change to acknowledge so that user knows that the assignee knows the issue. Okay, then after the assignee resolve the issue, he can click done. Then the status change to pending verification. And this is the time when requester go and verify the issue to tell the assignee that whether this issue still persists. Okay, so here we can come to the flow here and add a flow. So at first is unassigned. After you assign the engineer, it will be pending the engineer's acknowledgement. Okay, so you can add another flow. If it is pending acknowledgement, the engineer can only acknowledge. There's no other action he can do. He can only acknowledge so that the status will change to acknowledge. So after acknowledge, he can further update the status of the issue that it has been resolved. And it will be pending the requester's verification. Okay, so you can have different flow lah, of course. So pending verification, then you can verify and the status becomes verified. Okay, so we can actually do a simple test while you don't have to test it after you complete whole system. You can test it halfway. Okay, so this is the client side. This is not the studio. This is the end user side. So he can come to the ticketing here, then click new. After click new, he can fill in the form. You can notice that I didn't set any mandatory field for my testing so that I can do it faster. So without filling in, he click OK. Then it will become unassigned. It follows exactly what we want. So this is our flow, right? Okay, so after assign the engineer, it will become pending acknowledgement. So after I acknowledge this, it will be pending, it will be acknowledged. After I update status to be done, it will be pending verification. After I verify this, it will be verified. Okay, so if I'm going too fast, please let me know. And if you have any questions up to this point, please also let us know so that we can slower down or repeat again. Okay? Okay, so if you're looking at my list, the flow is done. The basic one, okay, is done. Then we can further design the form for each step. Just now we are done with the create. So now we want to do the form for assign engineer. So here we can click assign engineer, then click this to add the form. It's absolutely fine if you don't need the user to fill in anything. Okay, so but assign engineer, we need the engineer lah. Engineer. So it tells you, okay, you can select the engineer here. Then engineer is also a user. Then you want to link it to your employee list. Okay, just to show you how the employee list looks like. This is the employee list. Okay, so it's linked. I want to show the employee's name here. Okay. And when you click assign engineer, you must select somebody. Okay. If you want, you can actually set a due date for this engineer. Okay, due date. Okay. So you must fill in the due date and set it as a mandatory field so that when the assign engineer, the user will not forget to fill in the engineer's name. Okay. So for acknowledgement, maybe you want to know, record down the date of acknowledgement. Okay, date of acknowledgement. And also you want to know who acknowledged this issue. Again, you link to the employee module. So with the user login, we will be able to identify who actually acknowledged the issue by putting a formula. Okay, so you can see that when you mouse over to the field, you will be able to see several options. The first one is the required field, which I mentioned that is a must field. Then the second one will be read only. So if you click this, it will be a read only. It's not editable by the user. It's not input by the user. It's captured by the system, or just to display to the user so that they can see the information and not for them to edit. So you see that the difference of using a system and Excel. Because in Excel, you can, if you have the right, most likely you can either edit the sheet, or you cannot edit the sheet at all. But this one we set for each field. This field you can edit, another field you cannot edit. Okay, so we have this kind of differentiation. Okay, so acknowledged by, this is to hide the field from the form. Okay, maybe you only want this field to appear for your calculations. Okay, but not for our case here. So, and you see another one is called formula. This is the one I'm going to introduce. Formula, for formula, you can, with formula, you can actually create a lot of rules. For example, this one acknowledged by, I actually don't want user to fill in acknowledged by who, because maybe they'll select another person. So this is not good. So I want to capture whoever log in will be the person acknowledge the issue. So I can type a hash here. Then I have a list of selection, and I can choose current user. So all this information you can actually find from our Inistate community, that we actually introduce this formula, like what is it used for. So you can find more information from there, or you can check with us on Discord. Okay, so current user. Okay, date of acknowledgement, you can also set the date. So again, you type the hash and you can select today, so that user don't have to fill in the date. It will be captured automatically. Okay, then you can click OK and proceed to the next form. Okay, if you click done, if you think that nothing I need from the engineer, then you can leave it blank. No need to fill in anything. But for verify, maybe you need to have options for the status of the ticket. So maybe you can put resolve. Then you can put yes or no. Or you can put it as a select, resolve, yes or no. If you want it to be in words lah, you can make it a radio button and click OK. Then set it as a mandatory field. The person who is going to verify the issue must tell the system whether this issue has been resolved. Then if it is not resolved, you need to further elaborate lah. Maybe put remarks there. Okay, so you can set formula that under what kind of condition you want the remarks, you want the requester to fill in the remarks. So maybe when you can click hash here, then you select the form. Form means this form, okay? This form, because in this form we have several information. You can put hash, then you can select the resolve. So if resolve equal to no, that is the condition when user must input the remarks. Okay? Okay, so we are done with this form. You can save it. Okay, just now, you might find it very strange that why the flow that I draw to you has a loop, but not the initial flow that I set up in the system. Okay, so here you notice that there is a loop. So after the engineer mark as resolved, the requester actually have an option whether he wants to reopen the issue or verify the issue. Okay, so here when verify, we can set a condition, not necessary to be verified. You can set the conditions. So again, same thing, you need to type hash and select entry. Entry means this issue. Okay, and you put another hash and to know that if the result is no, is yes or no, doesn't matter. Okay, the condition has to be verified. Anything else, it will be reopened. Okay, you can take a look at this setup here. Maybe you need some time uh, to digest. Okay, here we set a condition. Then under this condition, we want to tell the system under what kind of condition the status should be verified. And if the result is not yes, meaning that is no, then the status should be reopened instead of verified. Okay, Okay. So if no problem, I shall proceed. Then we can save this. Okay, it has been saved. Okay, so when it is reopened, right, we need another acknowledgement from the engineer. So it will become a loop now. Okay, you can take a look here. So is what we designed initially on my computer. So unassigned, after you assign, it will be pending engineer's acknowledgement. After the engineer acknowledge, it will become acknowledged. So after acknowledge, you can update the status that you have done resolving the issue. So the requester can either verify saying that is resolved or is not resolved. So if not resolved, the the engineer will have to acknowledge again so that the requester knows or he is aware of this matter. Okay? Okay, if no problem, we can actually take a look at the end result. So if I go to ticketing here, again, I click new to fill in the informations or this is not working. Okay, so you can specify what device, web browser, and which workspace. Okay, and click OK. It'll be unassigned. After unassigned, you assign to somebody, and this is the form we just made, isn't it? You see, the assign engineer, this is the form we made. Of course, you can make further changes here, okay? So you can see that both need to be filled in. If not, you cannot proceed. So I will choose from the list and set a due date for myself. I want it to be resolved by 29. Okay, and I click OK. Okay, so if you notice here that I actually mark this as a calendar and this as a assignee. So by doing that, if you go to your calendar view, you'll be able to see it showing in your calendar automatically. So 27, the sign is zero. So if you click, it brings you to that particular ticket. Okay. So we go back to the ticketing here, pending acknowledgement. So the next step would be acknowledge. So acknowledge, we don't have to fill in anything. The system will capture who is doing the acknowledgement, on which date. Then you click OK. So also save some of the time for the user. There are certain information you don't have to fill in. But still you get the information lah. So after acknowledge, the engineer can say that, oh, it's done, and click OK. So this is the time when requester want to verify the issue. Okay, you can see that the remarks here is gray color. It's not a mandatory field. You don't have to fill in. Okay, so you can click no, it's not resolved. And these remarks here will change to red color, which you have to fill in. Without filling in, you cannot submit. But what if I click it, I select yes. So it turns back to gray color, which you don't have to fill in and you will be able to submit. Okay? Okay. So let's go to the next item, notification. So very often when I talk to customer, the customer will tell me, I want the notifications in all my steps. Actually, I would not recommend to do so because uh, by having many notification is equal to having no notification. People tend to ignore if there are too many. So we only set it for very critical, in a very critical step. For example, after assign to this engineer, you want to notify them. So you put a notification here. If you mouse over to this particular step, like assign engineer, you can see that there is a envelope here that is for notification. You click here, then you can choose in-app notification, meaning that they will get the notification here, in the alert here. Or you can also choose email. Email meaning that they will receive the email we will send an email to their account according to their login account. Okay, so here I do add notification. Who I want to send to? I want to send to the assignee, which is the engineer. So you can write the message here. You can tell him more details so that he doesn't have to click the notification to know what is happening lah. Give him a very rough idea. Okay, maybe you say again the hash, then you can select what information you want to provide, or you can just write a line or saying that you have a new job or new task, something like this. Okay, then you click OK. The notification is done. Of course, if you are setting up many notifications, you might not know when you come back to the studio, you might not know what is it for. So you can always write description here. This is to notify the engineer when a new task has been assigned. Okay. So if you look at here, you know, you don't have to click inside to know what is the setup here. So you know, this is to notify the engineer. Okay, so I save this and do a testing. So I create another new ticket. Then when assign, I want to assign to myself. Then set the due date to be 31st and click OK. Then I receive a notification. The content will be what was written just now. That the content will be you have a new task. Okay, you have a new task. So if I click, I'll be able to see that ticket. Okay, so you can set the notification in the button. That is the activity here, or you can choose to set the notification in the stat. It is the same. It works exactly the same. Okay, next, I will go to the list. Okay, you can see that under listing, we have nothing here. If you didn't set up anything, the system will use the default list. Default list means it is showing everything, all the information you created. Okay, here. These are basically all the information we have in this workspace. You can click to reload lah. You need to refresh when you are adding more information or updating the system. Okay, so you can see that this is the default list. What if you do not want? You want to create a list only for that engineer, because too many things on the list is very hard for the engineer to know that which task is for him. So we add a list here. Then we can customize that what information to display in this list. Maybe ID is important, status is important, then you only show two of these. But if you need more, you can write other things lah, like the report date, what's the problem. Then if you think device is okay, then we select all six of this information and click OK. Okay, then you need to give the list a name. This is my task. Then we filter that what is my task. Only when I'm the engineer, then that means this is my task. Okay, so if I click here to save the list, we always need another list called all. You can duplicate the list. Sorry, I'm doing too fast. You click this and click duplicate, then you will get exactly the same list. Then you can rename this list, set it to be all, then without any filter, meaning that all the ticket will be showing here. Okay, so now we have two lists. What happened to the client? Okay, this is normal because just now we don't have any list. After refresh, you can choose any list to view. So this is all. There are three tickets here. Then my task only two. Only two were assigned to me. So you don't have to see everything in the list lah. So only the job that has been assigned to me. Okay. So we are good with the list now. The next will be document, which many of you are very interested in, because maybe if you are not using system, you're still using the paper form. So maybe you still need the paper form to do your filing. So we can do the document here, like for you to print it out and do your filing. So in the studio, we call it template. Okay, you can click add here. Then this is a simple one. Okay, you can give it a name. You can call it ticket or print ticket. Then here you can select what you want to display. You click to add, then you choose the information you want. First I want to show the report date. Then I want to show the problem. I want to show the device. This is printable device. Then I want to show in which workspace this issue is for. Then I want to know who solved the issue. The engineer is who. Then any remarks. Okay, then you can save this. Then we can preview the document, see if you are satisfied with the document. Okay, you can click preview, then this will be the printed format. Of course, you can change the color, or we have a few options for you, like how you want it to look like this kind. And if you don't like blue and green, you can always change it to gray color, or you can choose other color here. Okay, you can choose, I want this color. If you are good, then we can have this document being print. Okay. So when I save it and I refresh here, whenever you see this gray color, meaning that you updated something in the studio. So click reload and select the ticket. You will see that the ticket is here in PDF format. So if you click it, you'll be able to download this in PDF. Okay. Okay, for your filing, you can print it out for your filing. Okay. So we already create a simple flow for the tickets. And in each step, we have the form added for the user to fill in the necessary information in each step. And we also set up the notification to notify the engineer when a new ticket is assigned to him. Then we have created a list to help the engineer to further filter that he can see the task that assigned to him. He don't have to search all the tickets to find out which one was belong to me. Then we also make a simple document for you to print out in PDF. Okay, the next and the last will be the user right, which is crucial for using a system. Because why you use system? Because you want to have control. And because a system involves people from different departments, you do not want everyone to access everything and to make changes of everything. Okay, so you need to have this kind of control. You can see that the lock here, okay, when you mouse over, you can see lock, meaning that all these you can set the user right. For example, ticketing, you actually don't want the uh your you don't want all your colleagues to see the ticketing. You can just lock it here. Okay, so before doing that, we need to set up some user role. So if you go to employee here, you can actually set up a list. This is the studio for the employee. So maybe we need a department, or maybe a position, sorry, position. Then you can have a few position. Maybe have manager. Then I have admin. Okay. Then I have engineer. Okay. So you can actually create a list here. So this one is the list for admin. So the role should be, the position should be admin. Okay. Then you create another list here by duplicating. Then you say, oh, this is manager. The position is manager. Then you can say that, oh, engineer. The most important one will be to be able to view everyone in one single list. So without any filter. Okay. So if I refresh here, I'll be able to see my employee list now with some differentiation. I have admin. So now nobody is admin, nobody is manager because I haven't assigned any role. Okay, so let me find myself. So I'm Ziwa. So I edit my data. Actually, I'm the manager. Then I can assign my other colleague here. I can assign my colleague here. Okay. Then I edit her name. Oh. then she's the engineer. Okay? Am I going too fast? Okay, if no, then we were talking about the user, right? So in our ticketing, we can say that, only manager can view this ticketing. So the rest who doesn't have the role of manager will not be able to see this from their menu, will not be able to see ticketing in their menu. Okay, so the same thing, normally what we control is the all, meaning that you do not want him to see everything. So only manager can see all the list. Okay, the rest of the people, they can always see my task. Okay, so you can also control in terms of the button, the activity, that only the engineer have the rights to say that this issue is done. So here you can put engineer. So the rest, the admin or the customer service will never be able to say that it's done. Only the engineer has the rights to say that this is done. Okay? So this one I remove. We don't have not everything you need to set, just a example. Okay? So okay, because I'm the admin, so I'll be able to access to all the information lah. So if you do this kind of setup, the log, if you are not the engineer when you log in, even if you can see the ticket, you will not be able to see the done button on top. Okay? When you click here, you will not be able to see the done button on top. Okay? So actually I am done with my configurations in the studio. So I would like to just to do a summary of the flow of how you can do it. Okay, first you can design a flow like this to understand what step you want to have in your system, what items you want to capture in your system, what data you want to capture. Then because by doing so, you will know who are the parties that involved. Maybe it involves several departments, several users. So you want to know what are their roles in each of these steps. Okay, so after you have this kind of flow, then you can create the status in our system, because if you want to have a flow, you must have the status, you must have the activity in order to set up the rule for the workflow. Okay, so because by doing that, when the status is unassigned, you can never click done. Okay, when it's unassigned, you can only assign to engineer. So this is another benefits about using the system, that if you are providing one Excel, the newcomer who is not familiar with your workflow would not know what information should I provide in at this step. So by using system, there's only few buttons for them to choose. And when they click that button, they will know what informations are needed. So it's step by step. Okay? So after having the workflow, you can design your form in each step. So this one, the one here under basic, the default one is when doing the create. So when you create this ticket, what informations you need to provide from the user perspective. Then when you assign engineer, what kind of information you need to provide, but not necessary that you need to have the form in all the steps. For example, the done here, I didn't request the user to fill in anything. You can just click done. Okay. Then the next one would be notification. Again, notification shall only be set for some very critical step to make it more useful. That is when you assign the engineer, or you think when the issue is reopened is really critical because it's already the second time. Okay, then the next one would be the list. The list is to give the user a filtered list so that they do not feel confused, that they are seeing many things, which is actually they don't have to know this. If they don't have to know this, you can hide from them so that it doesn't make them feel very confused. Then the document, if needed, you can actually design your own document here by drag and drop. You can actually move this here. Okay. You want to put it at the bottom also can. You can rearrange this format. Okay. Then the last and the most important thing of using system will be the user right. Who have the rights of doing this action or viewing these particular tickets?